Hey there, my name is Kat Bijard, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about something near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about the co-curricular transcript. So that's a mouthful, first off, co-curricular transcript. And what I'd like you to know about it is that a lot of students don't know what it is, especially when I talk to the clubs and organizations this summer. Most students hadn't heard of it before and hadn't seen it. And so it's okay if you've never heard of it before, and that's okay. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what it is, and then how it relates to you. So when I say the word transcript, a lot of times students think about the physical record of classes or things that they've done up to now. So sometimes, especially when we're like, in order to get here to UNCG, a lot of times UNCG asks you for an academic transcript. That way they can kind of know who you are and sort of what to know about you. So if you came from high school, your high school had a transcript or a record that listed all of the classes that you took in high school. So oftentimes students come to college straight from high school, but that's not always the case. And so UNCG will ask, well, can we have your transcript? And so that's a physical list of the classes or the things you did in high school. Other times students didn't come straight to UNCG. Maybe they went to community college first and they took some classes there or did some things there. And so if a student gives UNCG their transcript and it has community college classes or maybe even classes from another school, because sometimes people change their minds, then UNCG can say, oh, this is a transfer student, and they might be a second year student because of how many classes they've taken, or they might be a third year student or whatever. Whereas if you maybe just have high school classes on your transcript, then that says to UNCG, oh, this is a first year student, and that kind of thing. So transcript is sometimes a familiar word to students because they're like, oh, I had to send that to UNCG. And that's right, you did. Or maybe you forgot, and that's okay. But then this word co-curricular is what students don't know or don't recognize. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know what that word meant, so I Googled it. And so I'm going to read to you what Google says about the word co-curricular. Co-curricular refers to activities, programs, and learning experiences that complement in some ways what students are learning in school. So experiences that are connected to or mirror the academic curriculum. So what that sounds like to me is the fun stuff. So activities, programs, and learning experiences. So to me, it doesn't always have to be, but it sounds like the stuff that happens outside of the classroom, the stuff that I really enjoy. Not to say that school isn't important or that class isn't important, because it is, and you should definitely go to class when you are healthy and well. But the learning experiences and the activities and the events and the programs are kind of the stuff that makes school fun, I think. It's, going to a club, it's going to a basketball game, it's going to an event on campus. It's kind of getting involved beyond just sitting in class. And sitting in class is important, and it helps us learn some skills and then reflect on the stuff we did outside of class. But the stuff we do outside of class is really putting it into action. So this is the pretty document that we kind of give to students that we share about 6 different competencies or skills that we want students to learn. But for nerds like me that are just really excited about what the co-curricular transcript is, the Division of Student Affairs talks about student learning outcomes. So it's stuff that we want students to get. And our mission at UNCG is that we want students to be empowered to get engaged and involved and be active citizens through fostering their development of lifelong skills. So these learning outcomes, these competencies, are skills that we want people to get that impacts them, not just here while they're at school, but forever, lifelong skills. And these lifelong skills are really important. You can talk about them on your resume. You can talk about them in a job interview. You can talk about them, you know, at your job, and you can relate your experiences back to them. You know, I think sometimes when I say, oh, it's the fun stuff, people are like, okay, well, how can I talk about going to a basketball game in a job interview? But I am here to tell you that it can be done. It just needs to be done with some thought ahead of time. So again, this is kind of the wordy part. This is the stuff that like people like me that are just excited about it probably will look at, and students will just look at that other document, and that's okay. But so it's just telling us what the co-curricular transcript is going to do, and it's talking about experiential learning, which is learning by experience, learning by doing. And that is so important. You know, a lot of times in class, we'll try to get students to learn by doing, by maybe like doing some problems or kind of talking through a situation or a scenario of like, what would you do if? But all of that is all kind of like made up, and we're all just sort of talking about it. When you get outside of the classroom, you have to go and do it. You have to go and live it, and figure out how you're gonna, you know, navigate through the world and through the experiences that you're going to. So here are some ways that you can kind of think about the things that you're going to through reflection and application. So this is a lot of times what we do in class. We think about it and then like apply it in class. But then you can also think about it in class and then go apply it out in the real world. Attendance. Simply going to the event is going to help you way more than if you sat at home and you didn't go to the event. Now, I know with COVID-19, we might be sitting at home and going to events at the same time. You know, going to an event might be logging onto Zoom or logging onto your computer and going online. And that's cool too. Active participation. So that means active involvement in the activity or event. So sometimes we might feel nervous and we might just want to go watch. And that's totally fine. That's a great beginning step. But I want you to be thinking about what are the next steps? What can I do next to really get involved? Maybe I can talk to more people there. Maybe I can introduce myself to some of the people that are doing the thing. Maybe I can go back and get more involved. So just thinking about what you feel comfortable with your next steps might be. And then developing these competencies. So what are these competencies? There's 6 of them.